The letter that should not exist. On a rainy November evening in 2024, historian Dr. Elijah Warren opened a sealed military archive that hadn't seen daylight since 1779. Inside the dust-choked box lay a single envelope, its wax seal still intact, marked with the crest of General George Washington himself. But the strangest part wasn't the seal. It was the date, April 26th, 1863, a letter from George Washington, written 84 years after his death. And at the bottom, in handwriting that matched Washington's exactly, were the words, "If this reaches the hands of future Americans, know that the war you think you won never truly ended." Before Elijah could even process what he was holding, the lights in the archive flickered. The power failed, and somewhere deep inside the dark metal shelves, he heard footsteps. Someone else was in the vault, someone who knew the letter was finally found. And they were not there to let him walk out alive. The vault beneath Washington, D.C. Thunder rolled across Washington, D.C., as rain hammered the streets like a million drumming fists. Dr. Elijah Warren tightened his coat and flashed his ID card to the stone-faced security guard standing outside the Pierce National Military Archive, a facility so secret that even most senators had never heard its name. "Late night, Doc," the guard muttered. Elijah forced a tired smile. History doesn't sleep. Inside, the hallways smelled of metal, cold air, and forgotten centuries. Elijah wasn't supposed to be here alone, but the email he'd received an hour earlier, unsigned, untraceable, had said, "Box 17 Alpha is to be opened immediately. You will understand when you see it." He scanned his card, entered the steel elevator, and descended 9 floors underground. The doors opened with a hiss. A cavernous vault stretched before him, filled with towering black shelves containing millions of military files, from the Revolutionary War to the modern day. The hum of electricity pulsed through the concrete walls. Somewhere far above, the storm raged. But down here, nothing moved except him. Elijah found the row marked 17 Alpha. A simple wooden box sat on the shelf, utterly out of place among chrome and steel. No dust, no labeling, no barcode, as if it had been placed there recently. He swallowed hard. "All right, let's see what secret you've been keeping." He carried the box to a table, set it down, and gently lifted the lid. Inside was only one envelope, cream-colored, heavy, sealed with red wax, and pressed into that seal, General Washington's crest. Elijah's chest tightened. His hands trembled as he lifted the envelope into the light.
That's when he noticed the date, 1863, the middle of the American Civil War. Elijah whispered, This is impossible." His mind raced with a dozen explanations, hoax, forgery, misfiled document, but each theory collapsed under the weight of the truth. The ink, the wax, the parchment, all authentic. He broke the seal with a shaking hand and unfolded the brittle paper. Washington's signature stared back at him. So did the warning. "The war you believe ended continues in shadows." Before he could finish reading, the humming of the vault went dark. The lights shut off. The air conditioner died. Total blackout. Then, a soft metallic click. A door closing. Elijah wasn't alone. "Who's there?" he called out. No answer. Only footsteps. Slow, heavy. Someone was walking toward him. Elijah grabbed the letter, shoved it into his coat, and sprinted blindly toward the elevator. But the elevator was already offline. The power outage was no accident. Someone had cut it.
He turned toward the emergency exit door, but a silhouette blocked it. A tall figure, wearing a long coat, face hidden. "Elijah Warren," the man said, voice low and calm. "You were not authorized to open that box." "I sent the email," Elijah shot back. The man's head tilted slightly. "I sent nothing. I'm here because you triggered the alert." "What alert?" "The one that activates when someone touches something forbidden." Elijah's heart pounded. "Give me the letter," the man ordered. "Over my dead body," Elijah spat. The man sighed and reached inside his coat. Elijah bolted into the maze of shelves. Behind him, the stranger's footsteps quickened. He was being hunted, and the letter, whatever it was worth killing for. The warning. From the dead. Elijah ducked behind a row of Civil War storage crates and pressed his back to the cold steel. His breaths came sharp and fast. He could still hear the stranger's footsteps echoing across the concrete floor. He needed light. He pulled out his phone and switched on the flashlight. The screen glowed dimly, far weaker than usual, as if even his phone was being jammed. He unfolded the letter again, desperate to read whatever had brought this nightmare upon him. The handwriting was unmistakably Washington's, looped, elegant, strong. But the words chilled him to the bone. "To the future guardians of our Union, if this reaches you, then the shadow of the hidden war has resurfaced." Elijah whispered the phrase aloud. "Hidden war?" He read on. "Know this, our nation did not fight one revolution, but two. The second war was never acknowledged, never recorded, never ended." Elijah blinked. His heart thudded. A second American Revolution? Impossible. Unthinkable. Yet the letter continued. "The enemy we faced did not wear British colors, nor did they fly a known flag. They were an order older than the colonies, older than England herself." Elijah's pulse pounded in his ears. "We called them the Eclipsed Order. They called themselves the rightful architects of the New World." His mouth went dry. Washington had never written anything like this. No historian had ever seen these words. He read the next line twice, unable to believe it. "They seek control across centuries. They infiltrate, not invade. And they will return when America grows divided." A sudden clang echoed beside him. A box knocked from a shelf. Elijah jerked his head up.
The stranger was near. He stuffed the letter back into his coat, switched off the light, and crawled backward between two racks. The footsteps slowed. Then the stranger spoke, voice cold. "Dr. Warren, you cannot escape. You have seen something you were never meant to see." Elijah crawled faster, his back scraping metal. The man continued. "Washington tried to stop them. Lincoln tried. Roosevelt tried. All failed." Elijah froze. "How do you know what the letter says?" he shouted. Silence. Then the man's reply. "Because we have been intercepting every copy for 200 years." Elijah felt the blood drain from his face. "There are others?" he asked. The man chuckled dryly. "There were, until we destroyed them." Elijah stood, clutching the letter inside his coat. "You're part of the Eclipsed Order," he said. Pause. Then quietly, "No, Elijah Warren. I am part of the force created to fight them." "What force?" The man stepped closer. Elijah could see the faint outline of a badge on his coat. 13-star colonial circle, blue insignia, crossed swords, the symbol of Washington's original counterintelligence network, the one historians believed was dissolved in 1783. The man whispered, "We are the last remnants of the Sentinel Corps," a name Elijah had never heard in any textbook.
You have found something that could ignite a civil war, the stranger continued. The Order wants that letter. If they get it, America falls. A loud mechanical click echoed through the vault. Red emergency lights flickered to life. The stranger turned sharply. They found us. Elijah frowned. Who? Before he could finish, gunfire erupted from the far end of the vault. Multiple footsteps, multiple shooters. The stranger grabbed Elijah by the collar. If you want to survive, follow me. Elijah hesitated only a moment, then ran. Behind him the vault filled with shouts, bullets, and sparks flying off steel shelves. As they sprinted toward the emergency staircase, Elijah clutched the letter tighter than anything he had ever held. Not because it was old, not because it was valuable, but because it contained a truth powerful enough to destroy a nation. And the war Washington warned of was beginning again. The war that never ended. Bullets tore through the steel shelves behind Elijah as he and the mysterious Sentinel agent sprinted up the metal staircase. The vault roared with echoes, gunshots, boots pounding, men shouting orders. Halfway up the steps, the stranger snarled, "Keep your head down. They want the letter, not you." "That's not comforting," Elijah yelled back. The agent shoved open the stairwell door, and they burst into a long concrete corridor. Red alarms flashed across the ceiling. "Where are we going?" Elijah gasped. "To the surface, to safety. The Order won't fire openly above ground." "But why do they want the letter so badly?" The agent turned to face him while running, eyes burning with urgency. Because that letter contains the final record of America's greatest buried war, a war they started, a war they intend to finish now. Thunder shook the building as they reached a heavy blast door. The agent slammed his hand against a palm scanner. "Access denied." "Damn it," he hissed. Footsteps stormed the corridor behind them. A squad of black-clad soldiers turned the corner. "Elijah Warren," one shouted. "Surrender the document!" The agent pulled Elijah behind a support pillar, just as gunfire erupted. Sparks showered across the hallway. "We can't stay here," Elijah said. "We won't." The agent slid a strange device from his coat, a palm-sized metal disc with colonial engravings. "What is that?" "A relic, built by Washington's engineers. Don't move." He slammed the device onto the wall. It flashed blue. Then the blast door unlocked. "Move," he shouted. They dashed into the open air, rain pouring, lightning cracking like artillery. The Washington, D.C. skyline glowed through the storm. Sirens wailed somewhere in the distance. Elijah doubled over, panting. "We're safe now, right?" The agent shook his head. "No. The Eclipsed Order has members everywhere. Government, military, corporations. They've been preparing for 2 centuries. Elijah clutched the letter. "Then tell me the truth, all of it." The agent took a breath.
Washington wasn't fighting just the British. He discovered a secret brotherhood, an elite European order that believed America should never be truly independent. They infiltrated both sides of the revolution. They planned to overthrow Washington and establish America as their puppet empire. "And the Second War?" Elijah asked. "Washington won the first revolution. Lincoln discovered the second." Elijah's heart skipped. "You're saying they caused the Civil War?" "They inflamed it, manipulated it, played both sides. Lincoln found the same warning you found and tried to expose them." Lightning thundered overhead. "But they killed him first." Elijah staggered back. "And every president after who tried to reveal them," the agent added. "Garfield, McKinley, Kennedy." Elijah's throat tightened. "So the country's been controlled by a shadow war for 250 years? The agent nodded grimly.
The Sentinel Corps has fought them in silence since Washington founded us, but our numbers are almost gone." Elijah looked down at the letter. "And this is their weakness?" It lists every early member of the order, their families, their descendants, their infiltration routes, everything. With this, America would know the truth. A gunshot cracked. The agent jerked, a bullet tearing into his shoulder. Elijah spun around. A single figure stepped from the shadows, a tall man in a black coat, face hidden beneath the brim of a hat. "Dr. Warren," the figure said calmly, "give me the letter." Lightning flashed, illuminating a silver ring on the man's hand, a ring with the symbol of a sun eclipsed by a black circle, the Eclipsed Order. Elijah backed away. "No, America deserves to know." The man raised a silenced pistol. "You won't live long enough to tell them." The agent, bleeding heavily, grit his teeth. "Elijah, run!" But Elijah didn't. He gripped the crumpled letter tightly and stepped forward. "If this document can expose you, then you're terrified of the truth." The man laughed. "We survived Washington. We survived Lincoln. You think a historian will stop us?" "You're wrong," he whispered, "because now the truth isn't controlled by kings or governments. It belongs to the people." The man fired.
But the bullet never hit. The Sentinel agent lunged, pushing Elijah aside. The shot tore through the agent's chest. "No!" Elijah shouted, catching him as he collapsed. The masked man approached slowly. "It's over, Dr. Warren." But Elijah wasn't looking at him. He was looking at the agent's hand, still clutching the metal relic. The agent whispered weakly, "Use it for the Republic." Elijah grabbed the device and slammed it into the ground. A shockwave exploded outward, a blinding flash, the masked man thrown backward. Lights, alarms, sirens, backup forces converging from the street. The Order's assassin fled into the storm, vanishing like smoke. Elijah knelt beside the dying agent, tears mixing with rain. "You saved me," he whispered. The agent smiled faintly. "No, I saved the truth." He died with the storm raging overhead. Elijah held the letter tightly to his chest. He had only one mission now. America would know the war that was stolen from history, the war its founders fought in silence, the war that still breathed in the shadows. Elijah stood tall in the rain and walked into the lights of Washington, D.C., carrying the truth that could save or destroy the United States.
If you want to uncover more shocking hidden chapters of American history, don't forget to subscribe, because the next story might change the way you see the entire world.